Chapter 76. Origination and explanation of the names of the Greek gods. Mathael. But so that you learn where your gods come from, and how they are in themselves nothing at all, I tell you in the name of the Lord, who is among us here, that they are now nothing but names which do nothing for you. But earlier, they were the descriptive expressions of the characteristics of the one, only true God, whose Spirit now reigns in all fullness in this Master who now stands before you. Zeus is the description which in the days of the original fathers always stood before a given law, which always stemmed from the flowing Spirit of God in the minds of the fathers, and meant as much as the Father wants it. For through C, also Z, was represented the expression of firm, unchangeable will, and through Us, or rather Uos or Uotsa, the expression of the constantly creating and all-ruling Father in heaven. Likewise, the expression Jupiter, or Jupiter, through which the old fathers represented to the children a corresponding vessel for love and wisdom from God. For Jupiter means as much as the U, a sign which represents the outer line of an open heart, is the true container of the drink of life. For Pit means to drink. Pitaz is a drinker, and Pitar, also Pitara, a holy drinking vessel, and Pizza, also Piazza, a general drinking cup. But as your Zeus or Jupiter is nothing for you but an empty name, because the knowledge of the meaning of this original expression has been lost to you. Likewise, and often actually even less meaningful, and therefore also even less existent, are the empty names of all your other gods and goddesses. For example, your Venus or Aphrodite, who is a goddess of female beauty, meant, according to the very depictive expressions of the old fathers, a very beautiful female person, but not to her spiritual advantage. For even the old people had been taught by experience that a very beautiful woman, with rare exceptions, is usually very stupid and does not hide any wealth of knowledge in her, because she is vain and constantly occupied with wondering at her own beauty, and thus finds little time to achieve other useful knowledge. Thus the old fathers name such a female beauty a true Venus, also Veniz, which means she knows nothing, or she does not have a clue. The expression Aphrodite means almost the same. If there was anywhere Ovirodite, it expressed giving birth to pure divine wisdom, and Slowrodite, giving birth to human wisdom. But Avirodite means giving birth to the earthly foolishness born, and Aphrodite then means as much as some beautiful cleaned woman who is always a bearer of stupidity, because she is mostly stupid herself. The old fathers always represented under V the sign of a vessel, a vase. If a holy O, which described the imitation of the roundness of the sun, and correspondingly also God in his original light, stood before the V stood for the taking up of the light of wisdom, according to the O representing God. But if an A, through which the old fathers described everything that was purely and vainly earthly, stood before the V, this sign of a container represented taking up void, earthly foolishness. But rodit means to bear, and av rodit means to give birth to foolishness. Tell me whether the actual being of your gods is not beginning to dawn upon you. The faces of Uran and Helena now begin to cheer up a lot, and Helena is no longer afraid because of her love for me. Uran then says to Mathael, "Friend, your wisdom is great. For what you have now told me in a few words, all the schools of Egypt, Greece, and Persia would never have done in 100 years. You have now wiped out all the gods of Egypt, Greece, and Persia with one sweep, down to one unknown God, who I have, however, found here, as it is now becoming clearer and clearer to me. And hopefully I will find more and more. In short, you are now a man whom one cannot repay with any gold. Firstly, I thank you as a person and a friend from my whole heart. Everything else will follow." Helena also thanks Mathael for such a wise instruction.